So today I'm going to start uh, the next module, which is functions of several variables. Okay, now so far we had discussed the case when y depends upon only one variable x. But in many cases, in fact, in most cases, our choices, decisions, or the outcomes will depend upon not one but several decision variables. So instead of y equal to fx, we have to write y depends upon x1, x2, x3 up to xn. So in such cases, all decision variables, that is x1 to xn, simultaneously determine the value of the objective function, that is the value of y. For instance, utility enjoyed by the consumer depends not upon consumption of a specific item, it depends upon consumption of a basket of commodities. So here we have got n commodities, and how much of each commodities the consumer has purchased determines his utility. In case of the production function, a common form is output depends upon labor and capital. To some extent, it's a generalization of the one variable case, but at the same time, it also has some unique features of its own. Now, some of the concepts that we need to know is the first concept is level curves. So level curve is the combination of commodity bundles that gives you the same utility. Combination of inputs that result in same output. So we have already discussed this in previous classes, if you remember, when we discussed better set, worse set. So here what we are basically saying is that we have two commodities. Let us say x1 and x2, and if you can identify that our function is u is a function of x1 and x2. So if we can identify the commodity bundles or the combinations of x1 and x2 which yields the same level of utility. Okay, and we draw a line through it, through such points. We call this a level set. So it is the combination of commodity bundles that yields the same utility level, which is sorry, it should be u1.
স্যার
হ্যাঁ,
স্যার বলছি x1 আর x2 এর কম্বিনেশনটাকেই কমোডিটি বান্ডেল বলা হচ্ছে।
হ্যাঁ,
ঠিক আছে।
so commodity bundle or combination, it's also called a commodity basket. এটা হচ্ছে amount of x1 and x2 that you're buying. Suppose you're buying 5 and 10. You can buy 7 and 2. These are different examples of commodity bundles. So we can take another set like over here where we have more of x and y compared to, let us say, this one. And we can draw another level set u equal to u2. Okay, so in this way we can have different level sets over here And in this case, we call these level sets indifference curves. And if you want to club together all the different indifferent curves, we call it an indifference map. So this is the set of all indifference curves. Okay. Now, it's also possible that instead of u being a function of x1 and x2, it can also be a function of 3 commodities or even 4 commodities, and so on. The extreme cases, the general cases, n commodities. So we can theoretically, we can draw level sets for all of them. For 3 commodity, for 4 commodity, for n commodity. The problem is that it's not possible to draw the diagrams over here. At most, we can draw
The 3.
3. Even 3 is not, I don't know if I can draw, I don't think I'll be able to draw 3, frankly speaking. No, I can't draw 3. If you look at a book, they have the necessary tools, they can draw 3 dimension. But if you're talking about 4, then even books will be useless. And as for n, you can only dream of it. You'll never be able to draw it. So if I want to rag you, I can ask you to draw a level set for a 5 dimension when the commodity bundle comprises of 5 commodities. Okay. Similarly, we can have labor and capital. In this case again, we can identify different combinations of the input. Which are L and K. That yield the same output level. Okay, so we fix output equal to, let us say, Q1, and then we identify all the labor and capital, which will give us Q equal to Q1. Again, we can draw level sets for higher output levels also. So over here, the assumption is output is a function of labor and capital. So this is called, if we look at an individual level curve, this is called an isoquant, and these are called isoquant map.
Sir,
Follow?
Sir, in a nutshell, can we say that level curves are just the points plotted on the graph, and those points are taken from the level set?
Hey, এটা কি করে হবে? Level set is a point taken from the level set.
Yes, sir. মানে এটা কি বলা যায়?
না, কি করে বলবো? তুমি কি বলছো আরেকবার বলো তো?
মানে স্যার লেভেল সেট মানে হচ্ছে কম্বিনেশন অফ দ্য পয়েন্টস যেগুলো একটা সেম আউটপুট দিচ্ছে, তো সেই পয়েন্টগুলোকে যদি আমি প্লট করি তাহলে কি যে কার্ভটা পাবো সেটা লেভেল কার্ভ, ওটাই বলছি।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ,
আচ্ছা স্যার, এটাই।
হ্যাঁ, so this is the combination of labor and capital. সরি, এটা হ্যাঁ, এটা ঠিক আছে। This is so suppose so you've got different combinations and all of them give the same output level. Q bar, Q1, whatever. So all points, the locus of such points is called a level set. Now, can you draw the level set for what are isocos lines? Can we draw the level set for similarly for cost?
Yes, sir. We may be able to draw.
Yeah. So what is an example? What is the equation of the cost curve? It is C equal to WL plus
Yeah.
RK.
Okay.
Okay, so let us say C is equal to 100. W is equal to 10 and R is equal to, let us say, 5. Okay. So 100, it is 10L plus 5K. Achha, suppose L is 1. What will be K?
Sir,
Sir, 18.
Yes, 18. We simply put 10 over here. So it's 90. Divide this by let me start the screen sharing again. Okay. Okay, so for different values of L, 2, 4, and 5, what are the corresponding values of K?
The 16.
Okay, the next one.
স্যার 12,
তারপরে
স্যার 10,
10. 10.
okay. So now what we can do is we have got 1, 2, this is 3, 4, and 5. So if we say that this is 10, this is roughly 20. So 12, 14, 16, 18. So 1 will be 18, 2 will be this, 4 will be 12, this will be. So we can draw a line connecting them, and we know that this is called an isocost. Okay. So this is drawn for C equal to 100. We can draw another curve for, let us say, this is suppose C is equal to 80. So in this way, we can again draw many isocost lines, and this isocost is a locus of all input combinations that result in same cost. Okay. So again, we can incorporate other, not 2 but 3, 4, many inputs, n number of inputs, but it will not be possible to draw them. Okay. So generally, when we draw level sets, we work with a 2-variable case. It's easy to visualize, and it can be easily generalized also in most cases. But theoretically, level functions in higher dimensions are also possible. Now consider a consumer's utility function u as a function of x1 and x2. See, normally we assume that these commodities are good. That is, they are not harmful. If the consumer consumes x1 or x2, his utility increases. Now, what are the assumptions of this? If the consumer increases consumption of x1, then this is the partial derivative, not d but del. Okay. So this is the impact on utility when other commodities are held constant. Okay, so x1 changes, but x2 is constant. How much does u change? This is given by the partial derivative. So the difference with the earlier case, derivative is simply this. In the earlier case, when you had one variable, this was absent. You need not qualify by adding this statement. Similarly, for production, we can find out del Q by del L. This is the marginal product of labor. Again, we have kept capital constant. So keeping capital constant, how much will output change if we increase labor. Okay, so again this is the additional, because remember in the one variable case we had assumed Q is a function of labor only. There was no capital, or in other words we had assumed capital or land to be fixed. So that is why there was no need to add this statement. But now both labor and capital are variables. So we have to say that, okay, we are increasing only L. How much will Q change? Obviously, the opposite also can be found out. So we have found out marginal product of labor. We can also find out the marginal product of capital. In that case, labor will be held constant. In this case, utility case, we can also find out the marginal utility of x2. In that case, x1 will be held constant. Okay. So in the case of a derivative, what we had discussed in the earlier chapter, there was only one variable. So that variable changes. How much does y change? In case of partial derivatives, we have a multivariable function. Y is a function of x1, x2, x3, so on. So here again we are looking at the relation between x1 and y, but now we have to add the qualifying statement that x2, x3, xn are constant. Okay, is this clear?
Sir, the last part, if you explain once more, like there's an equal and qualifying statement that you told, that part.
Okay. So in the earlier chapter, the one that we have just finished, when we were looking at derivative, we were working with this type of function. Okay. Alternatively, you can say that it is a function, let us say x1. Alternatively, you can say that yes, you have other x's, but they are all held constant. Okay, so in this case, y will change only if x1 changes. Okay, because x2 to xn are all constants, they cannot be changed. So we can simply write dy by dx. This is the change in y due to change in x1. Sorry, it should be x1. Okay. Now, when you have a function with multiple variables, then we have to find out partial derivatives. In this case, all variables can change. Okay, so y can change if any of them changes. Okay. So then it becomes very difficult to understand that why exactly y is whether y is increasing or not, or what will happen. So what we generally do is we change one variable at a time. Keeping the others constant. So what we do is we change x1, keeping these constant, and find out the effect of y. We change x2, keeping the other variable constant, and find out the effect on y, and so on. So this is called dy dx1, dy, sorry, del y, del x1, del y, del x2. Okay, and the general form is that we change x1, keeping x1 to xn constant, and the effect on y is del y del x, del x. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir. Now
Okay.
it is very clear.
ঠিক আছে, ক্লিয়ার হলেই চলবে, ভেরি ক্লিয়ার হলে আবার গন্ডগোল।
স্যার 1 মিনিট
হ্যাঁ।
লিখছি। Yes, sir.
So a more formal definition is like this, that we have a function y equal to fx1 to xn, and we evaluate this at a certain point. Okay, so let us now increase only x1 by del x, by del x1. So what is the new x1 now? It is the old x1 plus the addition x1. Okay, keeping the other variable constant. So the partial derivative of y with respect to x1 is del y by del x1 equal to limit of, this is marginal. Okay, this tends to 0. Del a by del x1 equal to limit of, we write it in this way. Okay, let me explain this using an example. Let us take a two variable case. It is easy to understand. Okay, so we have y as a function of labor and capital. So let us suppose that labor is 10 units, and let us say that we are using capital, let us say 15 units. Okay, and as a result of this, we are getting a certain amount of output, which is Q0. Okay, Q0 is okay. Now, let us say we increase L by 5 units. Okay, so del L is equal to 5. So what is the new L1 now? It is L0 plus del L. Okay. K, however, is held constant. So we have K0 is equal to 50. Okay. Now, if we since we have increased L, output should go up.
Yes, sir.
We call this del Q. Okay. So now we come to the definition. Okay, so we have changed one variable, keeping the others constant. So it is partial derivatives, dq by del L. This is defined as, okay, so I have taken L to be 5 units, but actually L should be, it should tend to 0. It should be a very small increase in L. Okay. Now, what is the new output? The new output is L1K0, right? Or we can write L0 plus del L K0. Okay. Okay, let's not write it in this way. Now, what is del Q? Sorry, I put X over here. It should be the L. Okay, limit del L tends to 0. Achha, what is del Q? The new output, which is L0 plus del L K0 minus the old output, which is L0 K0. And what is this del L? It is simply L1 minus L0. So formally, this is the definition of partial derivative. So this simply becomes, you can see this becomes L1. Sorry, it becomes del L. Let's keep it in this way. Okay. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Sir, just a minute writing it.
ঠিক আছে, আমি একটু কপি করে নিতে হবে।
Yes, sir.
Now, these are called since we are referring to production, these are called marginal products. So in this way, you can find out the marginal product of labor, you can find out the marginal product of capital. This is the marginal product of labor when capital is constant. This is the marginal product of capital when labor is held constant. Okay. So instead of production, we can also apply it to the case of utility. Okay. So we have utility as a function of the two commodities X1 and X2. So in that case, what will be del U X1? This is the marginal utility of X1 when X2 is held constant, right? And we can write this as limit del X1 tends to 0 So what is del U?
Sir, u of x1 plus delta x1
X1 plus delta X1.
comma x2
H2
Very good.
minus
U
u
of
of x1
X1 X2.
Excellent. And this will be
delta x1.
Delta X1.
Oh, yeah, x1 plus delta x1 minus x2.
you can also put in delta X1. Whatever. Okay, this will, you can see X1 cancels. So these are called the marginal utilities of X1. In this case, it is marginal utility of X1. But we can also find out the marginal utility of X2 also. Sorry, this will be X1. This is the marginal utility of X2. Now we write this as U1 and U2. Okay. In case of production, we write this, the marginal product of labor as MPL and MPK is the marginal product of capital. Okay. So U1 is the first partial derivative. Clear?
So when X2 is constant.
Yes. So when we write partial, we don't have to write this. That is part of the definition. Okay, I've written this in this way so that just to highlight the point. But when we write marginal utility or marginal product, we can simply write del U by del X1 is equal
Yes,
to
sir.
U1. We don't have to put this. This part is not necessary. It is, the meaning of partial is that this is held constant. Now in utility, we start with X1, X2. And what is the assumption? both U1 and U2, that is marginal utility. What is the value of this? Positive, negative, or zero?
Sir, negative. No, sorry, positive.
These are positive. So if you consume a commodity, its utility will give you positive utility.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that means utility from consumption is positive.
Sir, for some materials like capsicum, it may be
exactly.
negative, na?
In case of pollution, it may be negative, but this is, see, when MD is teaching you, she's teaching you microeconomics, where the focus is on microeconomics theory. আমি ফোকাস করছি ম্যাথ ইকোতে, সুতরাং ওইগুলোকে আমি এক্সেপশনাল কেসগুলোকে আমি অত কনসিডার করব না।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, ওকে
ঠিক আছে?
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
But what you have said is perfectly right. We can have cases when U2, let us say U1 is positive, but U2 is negative.
And we are taking in general.
I'm taking in general. So if I want to introduce pollution, then I'll have to specify this.
Yes, sir. And so also for some cases, like for some materials, some people might not like it.
Yes, you may be allergic to some food.
Yeah, that thing.
Okay. The second is that what happens if you, see over here we were asking that if, let us say X1 increases, what happens to U? Okay, this is the meaning of marginal utility. This is the first question. Now the second question and the answer was utility is going to go up, which means marginal utility is positive. So the answer is utility will increase, which implies marginal utility is positive. Okay. So the second question is that, okay, if I increase utility, what will happen to marginal utility? So this means I'm asking what is changing X? I'm changing X1. As a result of this, I want to see what is happening to U1.
Sir, it will decrease, sir. Law of diminishing marginal utility.
So this is?
Sir, negative. It will be negative.
No, I mean just form to calculate. Okay. So this. And we write this as U11. U11 or U22, whatever. And the answer to this is, according to Marshall, sorry, this is negative. However, if you come to the consumer theory, you will see that Higgs doesn't assume anything about U11. Okay, so this is not essential for deriving negative indifference curve, negative and convex indifference curve. Okay, so U11 is, but according to Marshall, U11 or U22 are both negative. This is the law of diminishing marginal utility, as you have correctly said. Okay, now, if you turn to production, Q is a function of labor and
Sir,
capital.
here we were mentioning about MUX1, right? MU of X1.
Yes, you can say it is mu1, but we don't write it in this way. We write u11. Okay,
Okay, sir.
so technically you are correct. This is mu1, but we don't use this formula generally. Okay. Now, in case of production, Q is a function of labor and capital. And again, the first question is that if, let us say, L increases, what will happen to Q? Instead of that, we can also ask, if K increases, what will happen to Q?
Increase.
Yeah, and the answer is given by the marginal product curve of labor, which is equal to dQ by dL. And we assume that this is positive. Output will increase. So then the second question is that if I increase labor or if I increase capital, what will happen to marginal product of labor or marginal product of capital? So if I increase labor, what will happen to marginal product of labor? If I increase capital, what will happen to MP of K? And again, the answer is, what we are simply doing is, we're doing this. And you can see, you can work it out. This is equal to, we write this as NPLL. Or it can be, in case of capital, it is MPKK. Okay? And both MPL and KK are assumed to be negative.
Sir, it is law of diminishing returns.
Law of diminishing returns. So, as you can guess, the nature of the curves, both over here and here, are same. So I'm using the same diagram without, I'm just putting in x1 and y. Okay, without specifying what is x1. So in case of utility, it's x1 and this is u. In case of production, this is labor or capital and this is output. So over here, we see that the marginal utility is positive, but it is diminishing. We don't need this graph. So in case of utility, this is this. এটাকে আমরা যদি লেবার ধরে নিই, তাহলে তোমার, সরি আমার একটু ভুল হয়ে গেছে। না, দুটোই লাগবে। So if X1 is going up, marginal utility is if you increase consumption of X1, your utility is going to go up. But if you look at marginal utility, that is going to decline. Okay. In case of production, you simply put Q over here. So when labor increases or capital increases, your output increases. When labor capital increases, your marginal product is going to fall. Is it clear?
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
repeat the last part, diagram part.
Uh-huh. Yes, let me copy this. Okay, what I'm saying over here is that if the consumption of X1 increases, your utility is going to increase. This is the total utility. This is total utility. So if you increase consumption, your utility or total utility is going to go up. And this is marginal utility. Your marginal utility is going to come down. Okay. See over here, when X is going up, your utility is increasing. So the slope must be positive. Here what we are seeing is, if X is increasing, marginal utility is falling. So marginal utility has a negative slope. Similarly for production, when labor is increased, total product goes up, but marginal product will decrease.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So far what we have done is, we have changed only labor and looked at production output and marginal product. Or we have changed only capital and looked at the impact. Suppose we want to look at the impact of changing capital on the marginal product of labor. So in other words, we have changed L. If we change L, then Q is going to change. Now we want to see that if K is increased, how does it affect this process, this relationship? Okay. So what are we doing? We are changing capital, and what are we evaluating the impact? On the marginal product of labor. Right? So this is and we write this as MPL K. Can we do the opposite? We want to see what if we increase labor, how will marginal product of capital change? In that case, what is the term?
Sir, by opposite, what you are trying to mean, sir?
So what
Like
I'm
you're
saying,
trying to say that with change in L, we are considering the change in MPK.
yes.
Oh, acha, just acha. Now I can get. Sir, I
No,
think it will be the same thing, sir. will give us the same result. That is the MPLK what it is written.
Yes, sir. Same result will be.
Same result, yes, sir.
No, so how do we write this?
First set del L of del Q del K.
So this is d square.
Del square Q by del K, del L del K.
Del L del Q.
MPK.
So we write this as
KL.
MPK.
Okay.
Okay. Now, Young's theorem says that these are equal. These are always equal. That is one point. And the second point is, see, when we looked at del Q del L, this was called partial derivative. Partial first order derivative. When we looked at this is the partial second order derivative. What is this called? This is called the cross partial derivative.
Sir, MPLK and MPKL will be same when delta L and delta K will be equal.
Sorry. When what was the condition? When delta?
So when del K and del L and del K are equal, then only MPLK and MPKL are equal.
You are saying this?
Yes, sir.
No.
Sir, it should be same every time. No?
What I'm saying is that when you're changing L over here, okay, let me explain this. Achha, have you copied this?
Yes,
Then,
sir.
achha.
Sir, I meant to say that when
Yeah, I
change in
understand.
labor is equal
No,
to change in capital.
let me take an example that will make it easier for you. Let L be 10 and let K be 15. Okay? Achha. So we are looking at MPLK. Okay? So what happens is we first change labor by del L. I'm calling this del L1. Okay? So I find out what is marginal product of labor. Let us say this is 2 units. Okay. Then I change capital. Let us say capital is changed by 1 unit. Okay. So I find out how MPL changes. Okay. So how much have I changed L? I have
Sir, by
changed
2.
L by 2 and K is 1.
1.
This is in the first stage, this is in the second stage. Now when I want to find out KL, I'll again have to change them, but now the order is reversed. Right? I'll first change capital, to get NPK, and then I'm going to change labor to get right. So we have to ensure that this is same as before.
Okay, sir, got it now.
But as you can see, the change in labor and change in capital are different.
Yes, sir. So it means the condition should be same.
Beg your pardon?
The condition should be same.
No, I
Like
didn't
as
get you.
the MPLK condition and MPKL condition should be same. Like the change.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sir, I have a small question. Shall I ask?
1 second.
Yes, sir.
আসলে এগুলো আঁকতে আমার একটু অসুবিধা হয়। হ্যাঁ বলুন।
Sir, the thing which I was asking is that, sir, the last thing which you have shown, sir, like del 2 of del 2 of the del A, del L, del K, like this differentiation, the 2 times we are differentiating it, of the partial derivative. Now, sir, after this differentiation, we are going to get a specific mathematical function. No, and sir, that function, is it going to be same for if the
Okay, okay. ঠিক আছে। Let's take an example.
Oh, okay, sir.
If you want, you can put some value over here, a equal to 10 or something. What is marginal product of labor? এখান থেকে বার করুন।
0.5 a l to the power
a 0.5
l to the power minus
0.5
k
k to the power 0.5.
0.5.
k is also a function. Okay. So, what is NPLL?
Sir, a into
এটাকে এই ফর্মে লিখে দিচ্ছি। Exactly. a by 2
sir, into minus half
very good
into l to the power minus 1.5 into k to the power 0.5.
what is MPK?
So, del q del k,
Hmm.
it is going 8 by 2 into l to the power 0.5
Q to the power
minus
-0.5.
0.5.
এটা কি হবে?
Sir, a by 2 into minus half
Actually এটা 1/4 হয়ে যাবে। হ্যাঁ
l to the power 0.5 only and k to the power minus 1.5.
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, ক্রস গুলো বার করো তো। এইটাকে তুমি লেবারের টার্মসে ডিফারেন্সিয়েট করো তো।
হ্যাঁ স্যার। স্যার দেন তাহলে আসছে হচ্ছে স্যার
differentiate this in terms of labor আর এইটাকে in terms of সরি এইটাকে না এইটাকে সরি আমি ভুল বলছিলাম।
Say a by 4 into the power minus 0.5 k to the power minus 0.5.
এই একটু 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 আস্তে একটু আস্তে। হ্যাঁ বলো। e by
A by 4 into the power minus 0.5 k to the power minus 0.5. So minus
দুটোর পাওয়ারই স্যার -0.5 আসছে।
না, এইটাকে তো তুমি এল এর টার্মসে ডিফারেন্সিয়েট করছো।
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
তাহলে 0.5টা এখানে নামবে,
নামবে
পরে a by 4 হলো,
আর উপরে -1 হবে,
মাইনাস হয়ে যাবে।
-0.5 হবে। দুটোর মানে দুটোর পাওয়ারই একই আর কি, -0.5।
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
হ্যাঁ আচ্ছা, এবার এইটাকে যদি ক্যাপিটালের রেসপেক্টে করো,
the same as
সেম ইয়েস
স্যার
স্যার
সেম আসবে।
ঠিক আছে। সো উই ক্যান সি, দেখো a by 2 তো পজিটিভ, আর এগুলোও তোমার পজিটিভ হবে। দ্য অ্যামাউন্ট মে বি ভেরি স্মল, তুমি যদি স্কোয়ার রুট নাও অ্যামাউন্ট will decrease, but this entire thing is positive. So MPL and MPK are positive. কিন্তু এইতে কি হচ্ছে, মাইনাস সাইনটা চলে আসছে। সো MPLL MPKK are negative. And what happens to LK KL দুটোই লিখতে পারি, this is positive. Okay, is it clear?
Yes sir.
ইয়েস স্যার।
Achha. So what we have actually, what we have done is we have taken an example and showed that Young's theorem applies in this case. Okay. But maybe Young's theorem holds only for this type of production function. Actually, what I've written over here, this Q, the general form is like this.
স্যার কপ ডগলাস।
Yes, this is called a Cobb-Douglas production function. And there's a story behind this that I don't remember who is who, but one of them was an economist, and he was trying to find out a production function which satisfies certain properties. He wanted to find out the exact form. It should be homogeneous and so on. So, well, his efforts were not very successful, and he was very upset and he was very worried, he was very upset. And then he went for lunch one day to his university canteen. So it was a crowded canteen, and in his table there was another engineer, another faculty from the engineering department. And they knew each other very slightly, and they asked, and that engineer asked that why you're looking very worried. Is something happening in your home? He said, not in my home, but I'm trying to solve a problem that, see, I want a function with two variables. He sketched it out on his napkin. I want a function like this. I want to know what is the specific functional form so that it satisfies certain properties. So what are the properties? The other person asked, he said, these are the properties. So we work with that in engineering. Why don't you take this form? So he said, let me check. And then he checked and he found that this form satisfied all the properties that he was looking for. And he published a paper, but being very generous, he included the engineer also. So it became a Cobb-Douglas production function. So I'm not sure who is the engineer, who is the economist, I've forgotten. But
so before in economics, it was in engineering, this function.
Yes. So if you ever wanted to learn engineering, well, now you can say that you know a little bit of engineering.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, let us go for a more formal proof of the Young's theorem. Well, actually, the complete mathematical proof will be a bit tough, but
স্যার লাস্টেরটা কি করে চেঞ্জ ইন এল হলো? ওটা তো L1 হবে আই গেস।
হ্যাঁ, okay, so it's very obvious from this that K1 is equal to K0 plus del K. Similarly, L1 is equal to L0 plus del L. Okay, so we start from this point, the initial point, which is A. Okay, so what is B?
Said K not L1.
K not L1. Yeah, but we want to write it in this form. let us write D first. So D will be and C is now what is the marginal product of L? Marginal product is simply L0 plus del L. Sorry, there should be a K0 over here. And this will be del L. What is this? It is B. And what is this? This is A.
Yes, sir.
And this is del L. Now, this is evaluated from when you are starting from A. Okay. Suppose you have increased capital K1. In that case, what is the increase in, what is the marginal product of labor? So this is evaluated at K0. So this will be L. This is K1. Okay. So both of them are marginal product because you're increasing the amount of L. The only difference between them is what is the value, constant value of capital. Clear? Here you're evaluating MPL when capital is K0. Here you're finding out the marginal product of labor when capital is K1. Achha, now what is this? This is LL0 K1. So this is C. And this is D. ঠিক আছে?
Yes, sir.
Acha. Now, what is the, how does marginal product change when capital, marginal product of labor changes when capital changes? This is simply this minus this. Right? Achha. So this will be del L is same. So C minus D minus B plus A. So for simplicity, we can write A plus B minus, sorry, এটা A and C হবে. I'll correct it later. Acha, there's one thing which I've forgotten. Capital is changing, right? So I have to bring capital over here. Okay. So this is the change in marginal product when capital has changed. So let me write this over here. Right? So is this part clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Acha, now let us work out the opposite thing.
Sir, MPK at L naught will be D minus A by del K, and MPK at L1 will be C minus
Wait.
B.
Will be?
C minus B by del K.
Okay. Can everyone follow this? D
Yes, sir.
minus A.
Yes,
Just
sir.
check it out yourself. D minus A is this. Your capital is only changing. Del K is coming here. And this will be when you have got L1 capital A. So MPKL will be your labor is changing. This is B minus A. Okay, so this is C and A. Minus B minus D. Okay, so this is the same thing as see, the only difference is del L into del K. But we had said that del L here and del L here are the same. Del K here and del K here are the same. That is the only thing that we require. So Young's theorem follows. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So I'll end at this point.
So 1 minute writing it.
Sir, at the last part you told these are at this case the Young's theorem falls. Sir, can
Follows.
you tell the
Follows.
criterion?
Can I?
Sir, what you have you told the criterion for which the Young's theorem is falling?
ও দেখো এখানে আমি যেটা বলছি যে আমার ডেলেলটা
হ্যাঁ স্যার
এইখানে যে ডেলেল এই ডেলেল গুলো তো সেমই আছে এই যে
হ্যাঁ,
ডেলেল এই ডেলেল
হ্যাঁ
আর
same.
এই হ্যাঁ আর এই ডেলকে আর এই ডেলকে এইগুলো সেম হতে হবে আর কিছু না
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা ওকে ওকে আই গট ইট স্যার
হ্যাঁ
স্যার এই ইয়াংস থিওরেমটাও আসবে এক্সামে মিড
হ্যাঁ
টার্মে?
হ্যাঁ
স্যার আর কত?
ও ইয়াংসা মিড সেমে বলছো?
হ্যাঁ মিড
হ্যাঁ মিড
ও সরি
ইন্টারনাল অ্যাসেসমেন্ট
হ্যাঁ সরি আমি খেয়াল করিনি। না না
আসবে
আমি তো বলেছিলাম যে আগের উইক অবধি, ওই মানে আগের ক্লাস অবধি। সরি আমি যে এটা মানে সিলেবাসে আছে কি?
সিলেবাসে আছে বলেই পড়াচ্ছেন আপনি।
হ্যাঁ রোল নাম্বার 1
Present,
অয়ন্তিকা,
sir.
আচ্ছা মনজুর আলম, আচ্ছা সুমিত টুডু, প্রাচী বিশ্বাস,
Present, sir.
প্রাঞ্জলি, আচ্ছা তামাং ইজ অ্যাবসেন্ট, আনমোল, আচ্ছা দীপালু,
Present, sir.
অনিরুদ্ধ has just come in, Swapnil,
Present, sir.
বর্ণিনী,
Present, sir.
শ্রেয়া,
Present, sir.
সৌমদীপ প্রেজেন্ট, মাজ,
প্রেজেন্ট স্যার।
রিপ্রদামন, আচ্ছা অর্পণ, সোমদেব,
স্যার সোমদেবের মাইক অফ আছে, ও
আচ্ছা।
বলছে মাইক কাজ করছে না।
বিশাখা, আচ্ছা সৃষ্টি,
প্রেজেন্ট স্যার।
আচ্ছা রোজমিন, খুশি,
Present, sir.
অদ্রিজিৎ, খুশি,
প্রেজেন্ট স্যার। স্যার আমি প্রেজেন্ট।
হ্যাঁ অদ্রিজিৎ,
স্যার প্রেজেন্ট আমি।
হ্যাঁ সরি অঙ্কুশ,
প্রেজেন্ট স্যার।
সোনু, সায়নী বোধক,
প্রেজেন্ট স্যার।
নীলাদ্রি,
Yes, sir.
ধৃতি,
প্রেজেন্ট স্যার।
মোহর, আচ্ছা আকিলা শাকিল,
Present, sir.
দেবস্মিতা সাহা,
প্রেজেন্ট স্যার।
শ্রেয়সী, শ্রীতমা কুণ্ডু,
Present, sir.
পার্থিব সাহা,
Present, sir.
উপাসনা দাস,
Present, sir.
শ্রেয়ংশ দাস, সৌরজা কুণ্ডু,
প্রেজেন্ট স্যার।
সায়ন্তনী মজুমদার,
প্রেজেন্ট স্যার। প্রেজেন্ট
স্বপন ব্যানার্জি,
Present, sir. Present, sir.
বিদুষা,
Present, sir.
সৌপর্ণা দে,
Present, sir.
প্রেজেন্ট স্যার।
কি প্রার্থিতা মিত্র,
Present, sir.
দেবরূপ সেন শর্মা, এরা তো নেই। মধুরা ঘোষ,
প্রেজেন্ট স্যার।
আচ্ছা কেউ বাদ গেছো?
স্যার আই এম রোজমিন প্রেজেন্ট।
স্যার বিশাখা
বিশাখা।
চ্যাট বক্সে লিখেছে।
হ্যাঁ
বিশাখা। রোজমিন সুইচ অফ ইওর মাইক। রোজমিন সুইচ অফ ইওর মাইক।
বিশাখা
29 sir.
হুম
29 sir.
ও 20 না কত বললে?
T9 T9
হ্যাঁ দিয়ে দিয়েছি, আই হ্যাভ গিভেন ইট 29।
Sir, 37 present.
37 প্রেজেন্ট নাকি তুমি জাস্ট এসেছো এখন?
No, sir, আমি জয়েনই ছিলাম স্যার।
আচ্ছা,
তো জয়েনই
আচ্ছা।
ছিলাম।
ঠিক আছে দেন উইল মিট अगेन when ফ্রাইডে।
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
Okay
sir.
sir.
হ্যাঁ ফ্রাইডে 5:15।
Okay sir, thank you sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sir.